Tonight on CTV News at 6, a separatist group is accused of illegally obtaining the information of hundreds of thousands of registered Alberta voters. Tonight, the fallout of private voter information shared through a separatist website.
Once you have that login, you can type in people's names that you know, and it gives them their phone number or their address.
Plus, another must-win situation for the Edmonton Oilers to extend their postseason lives.
Our chances are now higher to win, drag him back to Alberta, like Carmen Davis said last year.
And new parking rules could be coming for motorized scooters.
If we have designated parking spots for these scooters and e-bikes, that clears up the sidewalks immediately.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nariman Isa.
Do or die for the Edmonton Oilers as they need a win to keep the postseason going. So this is a live shot of the Moss Pit and Ice District. The Oilers are on the road, but thousands are expected downtown for the watch parties. We'll have more on the Oilers in a few minutes. Well, good evening. An Alberta separatist group has been ordered to take down an online database containing the information of hundreds of thousands of registered voters. Elections Alberta says the electoral list can be traced back to the Republican Party of Alberta. CTV's Connor Hogg has more on what the information could have been used for.
There will be an investigation.
An event for people pushing for Alberta separation was interrupted Wednesday night by police and Elections Alberta. They were there to serve a cease and desist letter telling the Centurion Project to stop accessing Albertans' voter information.
There is a concern that your organization is in possession of and using the list of electors.
The Centurion Project is a group that aims to mobilize support for a separation vote. It lists Take Back Alberta founder David Parker as its architect. Its website allowed pro-separation canvassers to log in and search for Albertans by name. Michaela Lee was at the event to try to get access.
Once you have that login, you can type in people's names that you know, and it gives them their phone number or their address, and you can choose to knock on their door or call them and then talk to them about separation.
This morning, a judge granted an injunction against the Centurion Project, ordering it to remove the list and stop using the information. Elections Alberta grants registered political parties access to its elector list under strict restrictions. It says this list originally came from the Republican Party of Alberta.
You put less data on Facebook. You give every company that you sign up with less data than what we have.
Parker did not respond to requests for comment, but posted online saying the data is similar to a phone book. Cybersecurity analyst Ritesh Kotek says it's more concerning when combined with other data sources.
First of all, this is millions of people whose information is now out there. It creates a pretty intrusive image of somebody and their personal lives. That information can be weaponized when it comes to scams and frauds.
Elections Alberta says the Centurion Project and the Republican Party of Alberta have 4 days to identify every person who either provided the copy or accessed Albertans' information.
Well, CTV's Connor Hogg joining us now. And Connor, we heard from RCMP and the Centurion Project late this afternoon about this developing story. So what do they have to say?
Nariman, after last night's events, the RCMP says someone associated with the Alberta NDP raised concerns to them about the potential misuse of voter information. We also heard this afternoon from the leader of the Republican Party of Alberta. He says they're looking into what happened, and he's instructed members to stop using party-provided data. Minutes ago, the Centurion Project told us volunteers used their app and did not have access to phone numbers. It said it relied on a third party to provide data sets. It shut down the app until it can ensure compliance with privacy laws. The Centurion Project says it plans to fully comply with Elections Alberta's investigation. Nariman?
All right. Thank you, Connor, reporting live for us tonight. The Edmonton Oilers will continue fighting for their playoff lives tonight. Game 6 against the Anaheim Ducks begins in about 2 hours. Win and the series will come down to a deciding Game 7. Lose and the Oilers' playoff run is over. CTV's Evan Kenny joining us now live from Ice District. And Evan, how are the fans feeling heading into Game 6?
Well, Nerman, why don't we ask them how they're feeling? How are you guys feeling right now?
Let's go! We're feeling good!
Nerman, they have confidence in this team. Now, fans from all walks of life are doing what they can to motivate the team to a win.
Let's go, Oilers! Let's go! Oilers! Let's go, Oilers! Let's go!
Inside this seniors' home in St. Albert, it's duck hunting season. They've been getting together, making these videos, and cheering on the Oilers each game.
I was in Walmart and people were looking at me and they said, "You're one of the video gals."
You feel more part of the community if you're doing something to contribute to the excitement.
Canada's Prime Minister also showing he's part of the fan community.
Let's go, Oilers!
And here in our city,
let's go, Oilers!
There's confidence the team will survive another do-or-die game.
Our chances are now higher to win, dragging back to Alberta, like Carmi Davis said last year.
Oh, I'm always fired up as a fan.
Backs against the wall, right? Do or die, but a lot of faith in the boys tonight.
The Oilers extended their run on Tuesday with a 4-1 Game 5 win, and are now hoping to push the series to 7 games.
It's the playoffs. Usually momentum doesn't carry over. It's just a new game. And we got to find a way to win one on the road. You don't win a series if you don't win a game on the road. So it's, if we want to win, we got to win on the road.
For sure. For sure. They'll get it done.
Now, head coach Chris Knobloch acknowledged the team was not playing their best hockey to start this series, but he likes how his group has responded. Now, he says Jason Dickinson will once again be a game-time decision tonight. Puck drop is at 8. Nerman?
All right. That's Evan Kenny reporting live for us tonight in Ice District. Well, the RM of Wood Buffalo says the ice jam situation in the Fort McMurray area has stabilized. Earlier this week, a kilometers-long jam on the Athabasca River prompted warnings about a potential evacuation in Draper. The rural community is about 12 kilometers southeast of Fort McMurray. Warmer temperatures are now melting the ice. The RM's emergency management director says the jam is about 19 kilometers long. That's down from 25. He says there has been some flooding in low-lying areas, but nothing significant. He says permanent and seasonal flood mitigation measures are proving their worth. They were brought in after flooding in 2020 and are still being fully developed.
It comes in the form of clay berms and the steel walls that we put a nice walking path on front. So on the top, we've got some what we call triple dams locally. We've really reduced that risk here, and this year is a proof of that.
Jody Butt says it might take some time for the ice jam to melt. He doesn't expect the situation to get worse. The fate of a man who supplied the gun used to kill 2 Edmonton police officers is in the hands of a judge. His manslaughter trial wrapped up this afternoon. CTV's Amanda Anderson has the latest.
Closing arguments were heard in a 4th-floor courtroom today in a manslaughter trial related to the deaths of 2 Edmonton police officers. In March 2023, Constable Travis Jordan and Constable Brett Ryan were ambushed by a 16-year-old with a semi-automatic rifle. The teen shot his mother before killing himself. He also used the same gun to shoot a Pizza Hut employee days earlier. The Crown prosecutor says it wasn't the gun control regime that failed the victims. It was the actions and omissions of the accused, Dennis Okimau. He argued Okimau knew or was willfully blind to the teen's mental health issues when he sold him the gun. Okimau was prohibited from possessing a firearm or ammunition at the time, and the court heard 16-year-olds can't legally buy guns in Canada. The Crown also argued there's evidence Okimau knew or suspected the teen was involved in the Pizza Hut shooting before the shooting at the apartment and did nothing to warn police. During the defense's closing arguments, he suggested society is looking for someone to blame after such a tragic incident, and his client, Okimau, is a scapegoat. He disputed the Crown's claim Okimau knew about the teen's mental illness, saying there's no evidence. The defense told the court his client is taking responsibility for unlawfully selling the gun through a guilty verdict, but says a conviction on the manslaughter and criminal negligence charges will open a floodgate for criminal liability in other cases down the road. A verdict is expected in late May or early June. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
In Calgary, a man is in custody after police found the bodies of 2 children in a vehicle in a northwest neighborhood. Calgary police say officers made the discovery just after 10 this morning. Police are treating the deaths as suspicious. Investigators have not said if the man taken into custody is related to the children or if they believe he is responsible for the deaths. The children's bodies have been taken to the medical examiner's office and the vehicle towed away for forensic examination. Police say the next steps are identifying the children and notifying family members. Premier Danielle Smith says it's incredible to see a new pipeline project authorized by U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump gave a stamp of approval this afternoon to the pipeline that would move Canadian oil to the United States.
Slightly different than the last administration. They wouldn't sign a pipeline deal, and we have pipelines going up.
The proposed pipeline would transport Canadian crude from the border to Wyoming and could cost about $2 billion. It's being seen as a revival of the controversial Keystone XL project that was canceled by former U.S. President Joe Biden. Well, spring weather finally here. More people are using e-scooters and e-bikes to get around town. Now, disability advocates and the city say riders parking improperly has become an issue. CTV's Curtis Goodrum has more on the potential changes coming for riders.
Since 2019, e-scooters and bikes have been zipping around the city. While they're a convenient mode of transportation, they're not always left in convenient locations. For some people like Zachary Weeks, the way people park scooters has become a nuisance.
It becomes very annoying very quickly, especially knowing how easy it would be to rectify the situation.
E-scooters left in the middle of sidewalks can be a difficult obstacle for people with disabilities. One city councillor believes he has a solution.
If we have designated parking spots for these scooters and e-bikes, that clears up the sidewalks immediately.
Councillor Erin Piquet wants the city to work with e-scooter companies to create no parking areas.
What might have been a bit of an annoyance in the past has now become pretty serious.
Current city rules prevent scooters from being parked 1 meter away from trees and plants, 1.5 meters from street lights and benches, and 5 meters from fire hydrants. These rules, however, are not actively enforced by the city. Some people believe a designated parking spot will make e-scooters and e-bikes much safer to use.
Looks kind of dangerous, like that parking spot on the hill. I wouldn't take that risk, you know.
Their own designated spaces would definitely be a plus.
Some people believe a designated parking spot will make e-scooters and e-bikes much safer to use. Weeks says this is a first good step by the city. He hopes to see further collaboration between the e-scooter companies and council.
It's important that everybody has equitable access, whether you're using a scooter, an e-bike, or in my case, a wheelchair.
Councillor Paquette's motion will be brought forward at the Urban Planning Committee on May 12th. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton is getting new flights to 4 destinations this year. Toronto-based Porter Airlines is adding 2 Mexican and 2 U.S. destinations. Flights to Puerto Vallarta, Los Cabos, Phoenix, and Las Vegas will begin in November. The flights are Porter's first international routes from Alberta. Porter plans to run the Phoenix flight daily. Vegas and Los Cabos will go 4 times a week. Puerto Vallarta will run 3 times a week. For gardeners looking to start their planting this weekend, the Metart may have what you need. The annual online plant sale is on now until May 3rd. You can find what you're looking for on the city's website. Plants will be ready for pickup in the next week at the Metart greenhouse behind the pyramids. The expert green thumbs have made sure that hundreds of plants are available.
Yeah, we do have a lot of varieties just based on sun and shade, and we also have tons of different herbs available. We have tons of different tomato plants available. We have annuals of all colors and all sizes, so you can create your own planters if you want, or we even have planters for sale.
Sarah Birmingham says the demand for the Metart's plants is high each year. Some are already sold out. All right, we're going to do first check on weather. Josh joining us live from Ice District. Take it away, Josh.
Yeah, lots of sunshine. Everybody's spirits are high down here, and temperatures were high as well. The warmest day we've seen so far this year. Last Monday we hit at 22.7. Today, 23.1.
for a daytime high. Still 23 degrees in Edmonton right now. 22 off to the west, north, south of the city. Elk Island, a little cooler at 20. Started the day right at the freezing mark, but got almost 10 degrees above average through this afternoon. And it looks like temperatures over the course of the next week and a half should be above average for most of those days. There's a couple days where maybe right around average, but certainly no cool weather in the forecast. And we'll see more sunshine for many of those days. That's what you're looking at right now with the CTV drone. It's brought to you by Century Casinos. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, Century Mile. Lots of sunshine through the course of the day today. We did have some cloud cover, though, across northern parts of the province, and we'll probably see some showers overnight tonight in the northwest. Those showers may drop through the Edmonton area tomorrow, late afternoon or early evening. So not quite as sunny all day tomorrow as we were today, but we'll start the day with some sun. 5 degrees in the morning. Gets a little gusty tomorrow afternoon. Gusts to about 30 kilometers per hour as the cool front goes through, and then that chance of showers right around supper time. Daytime high tomorrow of about 19 or 20. So a couple of degrees cooler than today, but still nice and mild. We'll take a look at your weekend forecast and beyond later in the newscast.
Thank you, Josh. Well, still ahead, strengthening the mind-body connection.
The minute they put a shock through the whole spine, that was the first time I actually could move something.
A new neuro-rehabilitation center in Edmonton is helping patients regain movement and independence. Also,
science is behind everything we like to say, but in particular with dogs.
The Telus World of Science is providing a dog's eye view of canine communication.
It's been 10 years since a wildfire so powerful it was nicknamed the Beast ripped through Fort McMurray, forcing more than 80,000 people to evacuate in an afternoon. Homes have been rebuilt and life goes on, but the fire has forever changed this city. I'm Jeremy Thompson, and I'll have more on Fort McMurray a decade after disaster on CTV News.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A new neuro-rehabilitation center is now open in Edmonton. This is the Neuro-rehabilitation Innovation Center located at the University of Alberta Hospital. Neuro-rehab focuses on retraining the brain and body to work together after an injury. Patients go through specialized therapy to regain movement, which will help with a person's independence.
The minute they put a shock through the whole spine, that was the first time I actually could move something, and I don't think that's a coincidence. So it's pretty amazing, actually.
Very inspiring, and so to see people like Bill to recover so much just inspires me to do more. I want to do more. I want to actually see more people benefit from what we can do, and so it's super exciting.
Dr. Ho says doing rehab early can make a big difference in long-term recovery. The center will include space for both rehabilitation and research. You can now see and experience the world of man's best friend at the Telus World of Science. CTV's Marian Valdez-Carletti has more on the center's dog exhibit.
A new exhibit at the Telus World of Science is giving us a look into the world of dogs.
Science is behind everything we like to say, but in particular with dogs.
Dogs, a Science Tale, is helping people learn more about their pets.
How they discover the world through smell, sight, touch, in their very unique and fun way.
From the power of a dog's hearing to running a track to see how fast you are compared to certain dog breeds.
I love kind of doing those types of experiments myself, and it's a great way to get your energy out if you're having lots of fun on a day.
Dogs are more than just a pet.
Right at the very front of the exhibit, you start to learn a little bit about how dogs have evolved over time from other animals in the canine family, like wolves and foxes and such.
There are hundreds of dog breeds, some of them due to human interference.
Humans have bred dogs together to be cuter and cuter and cuter. Unfortunately, oftentimes what this does is it causes other traits of the dog.
A dog's sharp skills and intelligence make them perfect service companions for people with disabilities.
It's amazing to see these creatures
when I place them, and people will tell me, Maria, you changed my life.
We live in this world with dogs, and I think it's just critically important for people to take a second to step back and remember why that's so wonderful.
The exhibition opens Saturday. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Tradespeople and artists who work with metal and gas checked out an industrial expo today in Edmonton. Messer Canada's annual trade show connects people who weld and fabricate metal or use gas in their line of work. The show explores traditional trades and new technologies. Joanne Guthrie from St. Albert had some of her artwork on display. She says she loved being a welder for 20 years before she decided it was time to try something new with metal.
It just felt like I wasn't pursuing my destiny, right? So eventually I was able to move it into doing the arts, yeah, which I love. And every day I wake up just happy.
Other speakers included researchers using laser beams to weld and 3D printing experts. Well, still ahead, we head back to Ice District where thousands of fans are planning to cheer on the Oilers from afar in another do-or-die playoff matchup.
Those thousands of fans are still waiting outside the gates. It is going to be packed here in the Moss Pit, though, a little bit later. Beautiful night for a watch party. We'll talk about that and the chance of showers for tomorrow night after the break. You may have heard there is an El Nino coming, potentially a super El Nino. Here's what's going on right now. We look at ocean temperatures in the equatorial Pacific. If there are a certain number of degrees above average, that determines whether or not we have an El Nino and how strong that El Nino is. Now, right now we're in a neutral phase. It's neither La Nina nor El Nino, and that's expected to continue for a few more months. There is about a 60% chance that we could see El Nino develop by the end of July. That increases to about a 90% chance that by early autumn or late summer, that El Nino starts to take shape. So it's almost guaranteed that we will get an El Nino. How strong, though? Well, it'll start off weak to moderate. But by the time we get to late summer into autumn and winter, there is a very good chance that we have either a strong or a very strong El Nino. What does that mean for us? Well, here in Western Canada, especially in the wintertime, there's a bit of a lag between when that El Nino starts and when we start to feel the biggest impact. So I would expect that late fall and this winter is when we'll feel most of the warmer and often drier than average conditions. Probably also start to feel a little bit of this impact by late this summer.
Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Well, Ice District is going to be the place to be for so many people. Tonight, it is do or die for the Edmonton Oilers. Game 6 versus the Anaheim Ducks, expecting thousands of people inside the arena and thousands more outside to watch that game. Also in Ice District, Josh Clausen taking another look at the weather. And I know the gates haven't opened up yet, but they're expecting to have a pretty decent night to watch the game outside.
Yeah, it should be spectacular. Temperatures are going to stay in the 20s here through the early evening hours. Yeah, by about 9, 10 o'clock tonight, probably slips to more like about 17 or 18 degrees, but that's still quite pleasant. And I mean, sunset's not until just after 9 p.m. now. So there's another nice thing is that through the first hour of game time, you're still looking at a decent amount of sunshine out here. Certainly lots of sun as you look through the River Valley Skycam. It's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free, 23 degrees. As we said earlier, that's just barely, but it is the warmest day so far this year. 16 in Fort McMurray for a daytime high. We got to 23 in Grand Prairie, and Red Deer hit 22 this afternoon. There's the cloud cover arching up to the north. That's the upper ridge that's moving in and has settled in over top of us for the last little while. At the northern edge of that ridge, right along the jet stream, there's a low pressure system sliding across the border between Alberta and the territories. And behind that, you're seeing a bit of a cold, I don't want to call it a cold front, more like a cool front. Chance of showers in through the Peace Country overnight tonight. And as that front drops to the south, wind starts to pick up through the afternoon hours tomorrow, and you get a chance of some scattered showers. Now, I think the best chance for showers tomorrow afternoon is going to be off to the south and southwest of the Edmonton area. there's about a 30 to 40% chance that we'll see some precipitation here in the city. Much better chance, though, for areas around Red Deer, Rocky Mountain House, and then east towards the Coronation region. You notice by the evening hours, though, and certainly by Saturday morning, that's all way to the south, and skies will clear. So some increasing cloud for tomorrow, maybe a shower around supper time, but back to sunshine on Saturday. And temperatures are going to stay on the warm side of average for most of the next 5 to 10 days. 15 degrees right now in Fort McMurray. It's 23 in Grand Prairie and Edmonton. Red Deer currently sitting at 21 after that high of 22 degrees earlier in the day today. Wind has been fairly light here in Edmonton. It has been a little bit breezier, though, in parts of east central Alberta. I think most of central and north central Alberta will see gusts between 30 and 40 kilometers per hour tomorrow afternoon. You can see the gusts there here in Edmonton, expected to start around lunchtime tomorrow and continue through the afternoon hours. Once we get into the evening, the wind will start to die down a little bit. Temperature-wise, it was 0 this morning. We'll stay a handful of degrees above the freezing mark overnight tonight, and then a couple of degrees cooler than today, depending on how quickly that cloud cover thickens up and if and when those showers roll in late in the day. 18 or 19 with some sunshine Saturday. We're back into the low 20s Sunday. I've got 15 and 16 for highs Monday, Tuesday. There's a chance we're a couple of degrees warmer than that, but even 15, 16 is slightly above average. Midnight tomorrow is the absolute final deadline in the Mighty Millions lottery. You can support the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation and potentially win big. The grand prize is a $2.5 million package that includes the luxury home plus $100,000 cash. All you got to do is go to mightymillionslottery.com, but you got to do it before midnight tomorrow. There's your 10-day forecast. Temperatures just slightly below 20 for daytime highs tomorrow and Saturday. I mean, there's a chance maybe we get to 20 tomorrow. Low 20s on Sunday. That little blip early next week before another big warm-up into Wednesday. There's also a chance of some showers Wednesday night and Friday of next week. So dry through the weekend. Chance of showers in the forecast for tomorrow evening, and then a couple chances next week. And I mean, it's been dry for the last few days, so we could use a little bit of spring precipitation.
All right, thank you, Josh. Well, still ahead, potential privatization.
There are cautionary tales in private investment at airport, but there are also genuine success stories.
How going private could impact Canadian airports and travelers. Also next.
And it's a testament to Canada's reputation, Canada's commitment, Canada's financial expertise.
How a new multinational defense bank could give Canadian small businesses a leg up on the world stage.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
During Monday's spring economic update, the federal government said it's considering privatizing airports. However, not everyone is sold on the idea of selling off crucial public infrastructure. CTV's Abigail Beeman explains.
More details trickling out about the government's plans to explore privatizing airports after the spring economic update said it's still on the table.
From place to place, from facility to facility, how we can maximize the gains for Canadians.
The transport minister says they will look at each airport separately. Ottawa owns 41. 23 of the biggest are leased to third-party airport authorities.
I think that's a very complicated issue, but I think they need to be more fiscally responsible. Maybe they wouldn't be selling off Canadian assets.
History is littered with examples of the failures of privatization, and this is a potentially a very costly and dangerous plan.
With critics quickly coming forward, concerned about already high airfare and the potential for fees to creep higher.
I'm very suspicious because one group of people who are sure to gain from it are those who may be buying the airport.
Airport user fees account for about 30 cents of every dollar of a regular airfare that a Canadian purchases. That's not an insignificant cost. And so if there is a way to lower that,
presumably you'd be able to increase your volumes.
This aviation lawyer says it's possible privatization could lower prices too, and at this point the government seems to be looking at all kinds of options.
We need to take a very close look before we proceed, precisely because there are cautionary tales in private investment at airport, but there are also genuine success stories.
The head of Calgary's Airport Authority says he understands firsthand the pros and cons of privatization, but for now,
if we can have a structure that keeps our world-class safety and security, keeps a high quality and affordability for passengers, and we drive our economies, if we can do that in a better structure, let's do it. And so let's have the conversation.
outside of Calgary, airport authorities across the country aren't saying much. The Canadian Airports Council sent us a one-line statement. They're working with the government on the evolution of the airport model and are exploring investment opportunities. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Oil prices across Canada spiked to the highest level in years this morning as stalled diplomacy fuels uncertainty over the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Oil soared more than 6%. At one point, West Texas Intermediate crude climbed to about $108 US a barrel. Compare that to late February before the conflict in the Middle East, when oil was trading at closer to $70 a barrel. Economists say fears of a prolonged conflict in Iran are driving prices towards record levels.
The more that prices continue to rise is more belief in the markets that this isn't going to resolve itself anytime soon.
The average price across the country is $1.80 a litre. This time last week, the average national price is under $1.65. Another price jump at the pumps is expected tomorrow. Canada will be the headquarters for a new multinational bank focused on defense and global security needs. The new venture will also help smaller companies get major loans to grow their companies. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
As NATO nations ramp up to spend 5% of their GDP on defense by 2035, a new multinational bank with headquarters in Canada is being created to help smaller companies access loans to expand.
By pooling together, we're stronger financially, and it's a testament to Canada's reputation, Canada's commitment, Canada's financial expertise.
The Defense, Security and Resilience Bank could consist of as many as 40 NATO nations and allies, all contributing to a funding pool of $135 billion US.
Do you have in the Ottawa office?
This Ottawa technology company uses AI to help the Royal Canadian Navy analyze the moves of enemy ships. Anvil wants to expand to Europe and is hoping the multinational defense bank will open doors.
Having people who have walked that path before and can help guide successful companies like ours through that path, I think that's a major benefit for Canada, and I'm very hopeful that the DSRB will be will be one of those conduits.
Where in Canada the defense bank will be located hasn't been determined, but the lobbying has already begun from Vancouver to Montreal to Toronto.
We have all the banks here, the financial sector here.
The national capital is also making a case.
We're the home of 130 plus foreign missions and embassies. The World Bank is in Washington, it's not in New York City. This is the place where defense innovation is happening.
At this point, no start date for the bank has been set, and it's also unclear how much each member nation, including Canada, will contribute to the pool of funds. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Another former Trudeau-era cabinet minister has been appointed to a diplomatic post. Jonathan Wilkinson will be Canada's next ambassador to the European Union. Wilkinson says he is taking on this role for the same reason he entered public life, to serve Canada. The Prime Minister praised his, quote, vast experience as a minister, entrepreneur, and business person. The new post means Wilkinson will have to vacate his North Vancouver seat, triggering a by-election. Well, weeks before Canada, the U.S. and Mexico host the World Cup, the soccer world has gathered in Vancouver for the 76th FIFA Congress. Now, the Congress is expected to address the logistics of the new 48-team, 104-match tournament format. Human rights concerns and other geopolitical issues are also on the agenda. Representatives from more than 200 soccer federations are in attendance. Now, at an event in Oakville, Ontario, Prime Minister Carney was asked about Iranian FIFA officials recently being denied entry into Canada. Carney says the refusal is an example of the country's screening system working.
Revolutionary Guard has been listed as a terrorist organization for several years. The members are prohibited from coming. We have a series of screenings and we take action. The core assurance to Canadians is members of the Revolutionary Guard rightly have been prohibited from entering this country.
Now, King Charles and Queen Camilla are now headed to Bermuda after wrapping up their trip to the United States. President Trump and the First Lady said farewell to the King and Queen at the end of their 4-day tour. Now, the royals then paid a solemn visit to Arlington National Cemetery, where tens of thousands of America's war dead are buried. King Charles also laid a wreath in honor of the fallen. Well, still to come, tax deadline.
Make sure that you've got all the slips. Look at your last year's tax return to make sure it looks consistent.
Tips on how to maximize your personal tax return as the deadline is today. All right, and we're getting another live look from the drone, and the gates are now open into the Moss Pit, and we're starting to see Oiler fans pile in. That game expected to start in just over an hour. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar is trading around 73 cents to the U.S. dollar. Oil was down by just under $2, ending the day at more than $105 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained $68 on the day. On the stock market, the TSX gained 645 points, and the Dow Jones gained 790 points. Most Canadians have until the end of the day today to file their 2025 income taxes. CTV's Scott Hurst with some timely advice from the experts.
It may seem daunting if you have not yet filed your taxes just hours before the deadline, but for so many of us, it can be beneficial too. Last year, Canadians filed more than 33 million tax returns, with 93% filed online. The Revenue Agency says backlogs and delays are being addressed in part through AI-driven modernization, and claims responsiveness has doubled. In fact, according to the CRA, more than $45 billion in refunds were delivered last year, with taxpayers getting an average refund of about $2,000. Experts often suggest putting most toward debt or savings while setting aside a smaller portion for fun. A recent survey by EQ Bank found only about 9% of those expecting a refund plan to spend it on discretionary items like traveling or dining out.
Double check your slips. Make sure that you've got all the slips. Look at your last year's tax return to make sure it looks consistent. This is the final chance for accuracy and completeness, because once you file it, to make changes, you have to go through a formal process to do that. So try to get things right, immediately.
Other suggestions for that refund include putting it towards a tax-free savings account, a TFSA or RRSP, a family emergency fund, or paying down high-interest debt such as lines of credit or credit cards. Today may be the deadline for most. However, if you are self-employed, you still have more time to file. Officially, that deadline is June 15th. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Premier Danielle Smith's European tour included a stop at a London think tank today, where she touted the need for more pipelines.
For Canada, the missing ingredients clearly is not resources, it's the infrastructure to extract and to move commodities to markets. Alberta is keen to build new pipelines, west, east, north, and south, without delay and without hesitation.
Speaking at Chatham House, Smith said Alberta is the most promising and practical solution to the world's energy needs, particularly during this time of global uncertainty. Smith's 10-day trip also includes stops in Germany and Sweden. Alberta is creating a dedicated music commission to promote the province's music industry. The provincial government says the new group is modeled after the Alberta Film Commission. It's part of the government's new Music Action Plan. The plan's goal is to support Alberta musicians and venues. It also wants to identify opportunities for growth and promote the economic impact the music industry has on the province. The owner of Edmonton Starlight Room says this is a big step forward.
This is a massive step to nurture and grow the music sector within the province. I can speak confidently on behalf of cultural workers across the province that we're very proud of the artists and industry that produce here in Alberta. And this is a crucial step that we're taking as a province, and it's groundbreaking for artists' retention, economic growth, culture and identity, as well as community.
The province will now start looking for someone to become Alberta's first music commissioner. Well, despite a swell of backlash, the University of Alberta still plans to move a decades-old organ. However, officials say the move is not imminent. Parts of the Cassavant organ in the U of A Convocation Hall date back to 1925. The original organ honored dozens of students and faculty members who died in the First World War. University officials say they plan to renovate the space and the organ must be moved to meet current building standards. A petition to stop the move has garnered nearly 40,000 signatures. Officials say they recognize how important the organ is and are fully committed to finding it a new home. They're working with partners, including the Royal Canadian Legion, to find a nonprofit to donate it to. Well, coming up, a royal reunion. As Winnie the Pooh prepares to turn 100, Queen Camilla personally returns Roo to his friends from the 100-acre wood. I'll have those details for you next.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
The original Winnie the Pooh characters have been reunited at the New York Public Library thanks to Queen Camilla. ABC's Perry Russum has more on how she returned Roo to the 100-acre wood.
At the New York City Public Library, the missing character to the Winnie the Pooh exhibit is now back with its friends from the 100-acre wood. Roo arriving on a Union Jack pillow presented by Queen Camilla. With the original Roo lost in an apple orchard in the 1930s, the new replica Roo was made by the same company that created the toys owned by Christopher Robin Milne, the son of A.A. Milne, the author of Winnie the Pooh.
One at a time, okay? One finger at a time.
The royal family posting on Instagram what they're calling Roo's Great Adventure, traveling with the Queen from Buckingham Palace on board their Majesty's plane, reading alongside the Queen, looking out the window and seeing New York City for the first time. The Queen placing Roo in her handbag and arriving headed to One World Trade Center before the library. This year is the 100th anniversary of Winnie the Pooh, the Queen celebrating by reading to children at the library. With little Roo reunited, the royal family posting a quote from A.A. Milne on Instagram. It reads, "Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart." Perry Russum, ABC News, New York.
All right, so we got the Oilers fans, also Josh Clausen fans behind him. I see how the fans react with you there. All right, well, let's look at the weather.
Yeah, no, the weather's fantastic. I mean, it is going to be a beautiful evening. You can see the plaza is starting to fill up. Little nervous energy here. Is it? Let's talk to some fans. Is it nervous energy right now, or are you excited and
I'm not too
confident?
nervous for them. I'm like sure they're going to win. Like I don't even know how we lost, but you know what they say? Like to win in 7, you got to lose 3, right? I'm predicting 5-0, 5-0. Absolutely.
There you go. Normally this is where I would predict the weather, but what's your name?
My name's Owen.
Owen is predicting Oilers in 7. I like it. Can you guys end us off with a Go Oilers Go?
Sorry?
End us off with the Go Oilers Go.
Go Oilers!
Watch the language there, guys. Watch the language. Back to you now.
All right. Well, Josh, they're in for a good night. Also predicting a big win for the Oilers tonight. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your evening. Good night.